All right. Well, we've hit one after, so I'll just go ahead and start talking through our intro here. For anybody that hasn't joined our top trends or any webinar before, my name is Kendall Becker. I'm our fashion and beauty director here at Trendalytics. Today, we're going to be talking through our top trends of April. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, pull everything up, and we will get started. Okay, so talking through our top trends of April, this is a really fun time frame to be diving into with spring break, festival. You're getting that excitement of the turn of the seasons coming back. So this will be a fun one for us to dive through. Like I said, if you haven't joined one of our top trends webinars before, we break this down by women's, men's, beauty, and children's. We'll dive into three different trend stories for each of our categories. With our methodology, again, if you haven't had a chance to dive into our platform, the way that we're going to be breaking down these trends is looking at emerging safe bets, peaking, and trends that are on their way out. Today, what we're really going to be focusing on is these emerging trends and safe bet trends. And depending on where you fall in that bell curve, whether you're working in design further out or marketing in more of an immediate fashion, or where your customer may fall, these might differ a little bit for you. All right. So first and foremost, going over our women's wear category. So immediately when I looked at this, I was like, oh my goodness, this is screaming just a fashion girl right now. So we're seeing again the excitement from the turn of the seasons coming in. And one thing that really stood out to me is the Capri popping up not once, but twice in our emerging category here. So both with wide leg capris up 158% in searches to last year, and then Capri leggings going up 101% to last year as well. So that's a really exciting growth there. And as you can see, overall, we're just seeing some really more fashion forward items like the Halter having a big comeback that was expected for in 2026, and that certainly is. And then even coming down to our safe bets, so those trends that have been growing for a moment, the excitement for the funnel neck jacket continuing on for those who didn't jump on it in fall, and now is their time to be amping in for the spring season. And even things like the oversized tube earring or oversized sunglasses. Okay, so our first trend story, talking about our festival updates here. So, of course, as we know, festival fashion is such a big part of the experience. So, kicking us off this season, both with Miami Music Week at the end of March, always leads us into our Coachella back to backs, and then, of course, Stagecoach that's coming up. So, lots to be shopping for right now. And what will be interesting tomorrow, we'll have our full breakdown of Coachella Festival trends that hit in a smaller way, not a smaller way, but in an emerging way for 2026. And we expect to stay around and really blow up to 2027. That'll come out. But this is what people were searching for before those festivals did happen. So looking at things here like the faux leather mini skirt being up 205% in searches. So more of this like tougher lens, I would definitely say. I just got back from Coachella myself, and it was definitely had a tougher feeling to it overall. And I'm sure it was very similar for Miami Music Week, from at least what I saw from afar. But with that being said, definitely something like Stagecoach that's coming up this weekend is going to have that softer, more bohemian lens. And so we're seeing lace really be playing a big part in festival fashion. The lace bodysuit is up 56%, and lace shorts up 102%. And then, of course, lots of fun jewelry. This is a great way to bring color into your look. So, colorful jewelry. And then, geoids have been a really big part of the jewelry market this year as well. All right. So, of course, other big moments of spring, we're always looking at the prom season. So, a big interest shift that we've seen this year is the mermaid prom dress. So, this silhouette is up 277% to last year. This has been a really interesting silhouette shift. I've been doing some research on what is really hitting the market right now within prom from, of course, what we were forecasting. And there's lots of mermaids, lots of ball gowns, and those were like the two big silhouettes. And we'll have more content coming out around prom. But interesting thing here, just to see the continuation of lace playing a big factor. And then where I thought this to be quite interesting was metallic gowns being up 71%. And I do want to caveat this that I don't necessarily think it means that oh, it's gold or a silver dress. But there was so much shine and different variations of shine, especially done within a print or pattern, that I found to be quite interesting. And of course, for the average shopper, she might be just categorizing that as metallic. Lastly, here, what we've been seeing really blow up on TikTok are these clear heels. I think that's, neither here nor there. It feels a little bit more, I would say, some mass appeal, but fun for maybe more of that junior customer who hasn't had a chance to play with those as of yet. All right. And then just getting us into some of our street style, fashion forward staples. Like as we opened with some of the ones that we didn't get to call out as of yet, we're certainly seeing that cigarette jean start to emerge. It's up 668% to last year. So a really big number, which I do think makes sense since 2025 was our like, is the skinny jean coming back? Is it not? But now I think we're getting okay. It's not quite skinny, but maybe that cigarette leg is coming back. We're seeing interest in the Cape top continue on, up 333%. Following up with, we have the envelope clutch, seeing this a lot in the street style, and then leather ballet flats, just continuing on to be such a good staple and exciting time once the weather warms up to finally bring those back out. So it certainly makes sense that searches are popping off for them as well. All right, and then let's dive into men's here. So looking at men's, I think what we're seeing a lot is this like elevation happening within the menswear market. You can see here that this is ranging from elevated accessories to shirting to suiting. So certainly a shift, I would say, for April, rather than a lot of more of a relaxed or technical items that we were seeing. Not that we haven't seen them at all, but when we're looking at our themes overall, it feels a little bit more elevated. So we'll continue that into wrist wear. As we know, men's jewelry has just been like a booming category. And we're seeing this start to rise again and very specific searches when it comes around watches. So it might be branded, like looking at the Cartier Tank watch for Elaine here. And then even in our technical lens too, that Whoop watch is just like hanging on. It's been hanging out with us in searches for quite a while now. But what we really are seeing is this, fashion lens being taken to it, right? So a lot of men are even starting to do wrist stacks. So we're looking at men's sterling silver bracelets being up 108%. And then something like that Cartier Tank watch, it almost does feel more bracelet-like with a similar profile. So something interesting just to be watching within that menswear market. Okay, and we'll dive into men's denim here. So lots of like fun, different types of denim that we wanted to pull out. Of course, we have our staples. There will be tried and true bestsellers, don't you worry. But just some fun, different things to be noticing, like the Puddle jean was certainly one that is very festival driven, and that is up 326% to last year. We're also seeing more lived in pairs. So seeing that through lots of like worn denim washes, whiskering jeans, men's tapered jean, or sorry, Levi's tapered jeans coming up. So adding in that brand name and that brand recognition. And then something that we'll continue to talk about in beauty, but more of that organic cotton jean is having a rise here up at 428% or 25%. And I would say that that is also continuing on with interest in women's as well, especially if she's looking for more of that softer hand. I think the menswear market is doing it just the same. Okay, if I'm talking us into our last men's storyline here is spring shoes. So looking at more of, again, stepping away from our bigger boots and things that we were talking about a couple months ago and getting us into more of these fashion forward styles. So it isn't necessarily just a sneaker, but we're looking at backless shoes up 39% to last year, and then men's suede clogs. So as we know that these are both really big trends on the runways, and I do think that men's suede clogs, like that terminology can be so specific. So I'm sure we're going to continue to see backless shoes continue to rise. It feels a little bit more open and a little bit more attainable to that non-fashion customer. Split toe shoes. So maybe it's not necessarily the tabby, but you're still looking for split toed shoes, and they're up 88% in searches to last year, which is quite interesting. And then lastly, bringing again that elevation into our wardrobe. So the men's leather flip flop is up 28% to last year. Okay, let's dive us into beauty. As if you guys have joined our webinars in the past, just how much we've been talking about the different vegan, organic, cruelty-free products. And oh my goodness, they are just hanging out and continuing to grow over and over and over again. So I really do think that this is such an important part of the consumer zeitgeist and what she's looking for in her beauty and skincare products. Okay, so as we know, like you mentioned, April's always fun. It's that turn of the season. Today I'm in Chicago and it's like supposed to be 79 today. So we're certainly all kind of thinking about, okay, what are those different skin bearing products that we can be wearing? So looking at one of these glow centric products, things like Shimmer Lotion, it's up 910% to last year, which I do think is incredibly interesting because it's not like we've never seen Shimmer Lotion before, but to have such a big rise is very impactful and says a lot. Something I've been watching a lot of the Sephora sale videos on TikTok. I'm sure you guys have too. And that like Josie Moran body butter, some with the some with the shimmer, some without, but still leave a really beautiful finish. I think it was playing into this as well. Glow spray in general, and then other ways too, just to be able to achieve a glow that maybe isn't necessarily body centric, but illuminating foundation and holographic makeup, both of which are very, very popular all around festival season and spring break. Okay, so we have been seeing a shift back to fuller coverage as of late. And maybe this does have a lot to play with the fact that there are just so many important events happening within the month of April. Even though she is going on spring break, she's definitely getting those Instagram photos, right? Or having a good night out with the girls. And so we're seeing that lean back to more of these fuller coverage foundations. With that being said, there are a lot of other things that she might be looking for specifically. So maybe it's that vegan, as we mentioned, being up 1,048%. But she still doesn't want it to do work for her. So maybe she's preferring more of a longer wear foundation or something that is hydrating. So that consumer, she is getting very knowledgeable and looking what's going to work for her face and where she's taking it with her. Okay. So that's like this is a big runway trend, but we saw so much happening with low maintenance hair. And this can be achieved through a lot of different ways, right? It might just be a styling cue because you can see with an Olsen tuck. It's like the ultimate cool girl, tucking it within your neckline. It has even jumped 85% in searches, which is quite interesting because we normally see that more around the winter time when you have the neckline to be tucking. And then just undone hair in general. I think a lot of girls are ditching like their really big curling irons and they're going for more of like that blowout look. I'm like super faithful to my like thermal brush and it is the easiest thing ever. And then even so much shifting back into minimalistic cuts, like different variations on the bob. Okay, and then we'll finally hit our last category or last market here, looking at children's wear. So lots of fun, of course. I think this is always a fun time to be like shopping for kids with like cute sets and dresses. Like, so lots of fun. We're really seeing graphics and prints be taking out that continuation of mommy and me sort of looks. Okay, so this is really fun with that, like we mentioned, that fashionable but easy styling. So you've been seeing a lot of different sets be taking off. And I think that this is, I mean, it makes so much sense. I think for kids, bringing that ease into getting off to school, you're rushing in the morning or whatnot. But what like a thoughtless, not thoughtless, an easy way to still feel thoughtful in what they're wearing. So seeing some of those trending prints of the season popping up here, like a polka dot set, is up 256% to last year. But then even super cute other things like a Capri set that feels again very in that mommy and me vein. So that's super, super cute, popping up alongside some of our striped sets and waffle knits. Okay, and as we talked about, we always have that trickle down theory happening. Seeing polka dots continue on, definitely feeling good about this within women's as well, but definitely within children's, getting that mommy and me look, really continuing on. So we're seeing big numbers popping up here with like a polka dot romper, which of course is incredibly specific to polka dot sweaters, polka dot dresses popping up as well. So very cute. And I think again, this is a trend we've been seeing for a moment now, but how can it continue to push and evolve? And I think this little picture off to our left here is such a great iteration that feels very children's friendly, and that light pink and then a cute pop of magenta really feels nice for this market. Okay, and then we have our shorts here. So as it's getting warmer outside, looking at both boys and girls markets here, but seeing things like the eyelet short starting to rise just up at 34%. But again, I think for some of those staple trends, even when we do see a rise that is like 34 and it isn't a big number, that still means something, right? Because you're starting from a higher baseline and then it's rising from there. And then coming in to more of these like comfortable or sporty shorts, like longboard shorts, we're seeing a rise. Long sweat shorts being up 259%, so pretty big number there. And then dolphin shorts as well, which is super cute with an activewear. And that is our April top trends. As you mentioned, my name is Kendall Becker. I oversee our trend strategy here. And if you would like to get connected with our Trendalytics team, if you have any specific questions or want to dive into the platform yourself, you can reach out to us at hello@trendalytics.co or visit the website and schedule a demo from there. Hey, and we have time for a couple questions. If anybody would like to pop anything in here, happy to answer. Oh, okay. We have one coming in here. Our first question is, which social media platform do you find more coverage for the cigarette jeans trend? You know what? I actually wish I had that answer off the top of my head because we absolutely have that in the platform that we can send out to you. But I do think that I've been seeing this more, I would say more with a, I don't want to say mature, but more of like a 20s, 30s market rather than younger on TikTok. Like I'm totally seeing this done in a very like fashion elevated way. And again, I wouldn't say it's like mature all the way to a Missy market, but it's feeling very like fashion forward. I've been seeing it on the street style at different events, a lot of like influencers on press trips, posting this in different styling. So hopefully that helps. But if you are interested in like very specifics, feel free to shoot us an email. I mentioned hello@trendalytics.co and we can dive in a little bit more. Okay. Okay, love this. Do you see Western evolve into a more Americana feel? Yes, absolutely. I do think that Western, I think we're going to see it popping up, of course, right now. I mean, like we mentioned, Stagecoach is this weekend. There's other summer festivals that happen. But I will say, I'm definitely seeing more of this like true Americana, like jerseys, stripes, so much happening with that very just classic like varsity colorations. And I'm expecting that to be much bigger come fall. And also the evolution of Western into more of this like witchy lens too. This is something we've been talking about, but it feels almost like that light Chloe boho feel that was like light lace and chiffons is going to start to shift as we're welcoming back. We're seeing reads of velvet, blacks, like deep plums. So it's almost shooting off to like two different sectors, I would say, if that helps. Okay, another great one here. Have you seen any significant beauty supplement interest and growth? Yes, I do think that this market is so incredibly important. Um, oh, Ernest, hi. Yes, like as we chatted about, I think that this is such a growing industry. I do think that it can be easy for it to be oversaturated. So I really do think there needs to be like a differentiator in what that supplement is and also a sense of ease for use. And it needs to be different enough, but also have that education and the storytelling for her or him to be understanding. what is my benefit here? Is it easy for me to take and use? Does it feel safe? I think with the Ozempic conversations, the like injecting of like black market peptides, like there is, okay, yes, I'm getting familiar that there's other ways for me to achieve my beauty and wellness goals, but it also can be kind of scary. Like I need to make sure I'm doing it in a safe and okay way. Okay, guys, this is super awesome. Thank you so much for asking these questions. As I mentioned, we'll have our Coachella report coming out tomorrow, and you will get a copy, or sorry, yes, we'll be coming out tomorrow, and then you'll be getting a copy of this deck and report to access to see more of these numbers in depth. And if you ever have any questions, reach out to us, hello@trendalytics.co. Thanks so much.